Based on the historical data and forecast, Bitcoin has shown volatility with a general upward trend. The recent dip on June 12, 2025, to $104,700, coupled with an RSI of 48.7, suggests a potential oversold condition. We will implement a combined strategy leveraging RSI, Bollinger Bands, and support/resistance levels for maximum efficiency. The primary strategy will be a long position triggered by the RSI reaching below 50 and the price near the support level of $105,800. Entry price will be $105,800. The stop loss will be set just below the support level at $105,500 to mitigate downside risk. The initial target price will be the nearest resistance level at $110,200, aiming for a quick profit. To refine the strategy, we will incorporate Bollinger Band signals. If the price breaks above the upper Bollinger Band, we will consider taking partial profits and adjusting the stop loss upwards. Conversely, if the price approaches the lower Bollinger Band again, we will re-evaluate the RSI and consider adding to our position. Given the forecast for June 14, 2025, at $105,900, we will maintain a cautious approach. The secondary target price will be $111,000, based on the upper Bollinger Band. This combined approach, blending RSI signals, Bollinger Band analysis, and support/resistance levels, aims to capitalize on the upward trend while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Ethereum has shown volatility with a general upward trend. The support price is consistently at $2,510, and the resistance is around $2,680 to $2,810. The RSI fluctuates between 46.2 and 67.3, indicating periods of oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands show periods of contraction and expansion, reflecting changing volatility. Considering these factors, I recommend a strategy that combines RSI and Bollinger Bands for optimal returns. My strategy involves a combined approach leveraging RSI and Bollinger Bands. Firstly, when the RSI falls below 30, indicating an oversold condition, we enter a long position at $2,590. The stop loss will be set at $2,510, just below the support level, to protect against downside risk. The initial target price is $2,680, near the resistance level. If the price reaches $2,680, we'll move the stop loss to break even. If the price continues to rise, we will set the second target price at $2,810. Conversely, when the RSI exceeds 75, indicating an overbought condition, we will consider a short position, but given the overall upward trend, I prioritize long positions. This combined strategy aims to capitalize on both short-term price fluctuations and the overall upward trend of Ethereum. Based on the historical data and forecast, XRP has been fluctuating within a range between $2.09 and $2.32, indicating a sideways trend. The RSI values have mostly remained between 37 and 54, suggesting neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been narrowing, which could indicate a period of consolidation before a potential breakout. Considering the forecast prices are slightly decreasing, I recommend a cautious approach focusing on short-term opportunities. My strategy will be a combined RSI and Bollinger Bands approach. First, look for opportunities when the price touches the lower Bollinger Band and the RSI is below 40. Entry price will be $2.06, stop loss at $2.04, and target price at $2.18. Second, if the price bounces off the support level of $2.09 and the RSI is below 40, enter at $2.09, set a stop loss at $2.07, and target $2.2. Finally, if the price reaches the upper Bollinger Band and RSI is above 50, consider a short position with an entry price of $2.18, stop loss at $2.2, and target $2.14. This portfolio combines multiple strategies to optimize returns while managing risk. Based on the historical data and forecast, BNB shows a slight upward trend with support at $651 and resistance at $673. The RSI fluctuates between 41 and 58, indicating periods of both oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands suggest periods of volatility, with prices occasionally touching the upper and lower bands. Considering these factors, I propose a combined strategy leveraging RSI and Bollinger Bands for optimal returns. We will initiate a long position when the RSI dips below 50 and the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, signaling a potential oversold condition. Specifically, let's enter a long position at $657. Our stop loss will be set just below the support level at $650 to mitigate potential losses. The initial target price will be the resistance level at $673, offering a substantial gain. If the price breaks through the resistance, we will adjust the target price to the upper Bollinger Band, which is around $692. This combined strategy aims to capitalize on both oversold bounces and breakout opportunities, maximizing potential returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Solana has shown significant volatility with a recent downward trend. The RSI consistently hovers around the 40 range, indicating a slightly oversold condition. The Bollinger Bands demonstrate that the price is nearing the lower band, suggesting a potential bounce. Considering these factors, I propose a combined strategy integrating RSI, Bollinger Bands, and support/resistance levels. We will initiate a long position when the RSI drops below 35 and the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, aiming to capitalize on a potential rebound. The entry price for this trade will be $139. The stop loss will be placed just below the support level at $142 to protect against further downside risk. The initial target price will be set at $150, aligning with the recent resistance level. If the price reaches $150, we will move the stop loss to break even, around $148, and consider a secondary target price of $161, based on the previous resistance. This portfolio combines the signals from all three indicators, maximizing the probability of a successful trade while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Dogecoin demonstrates a decreasing trend with a support price of 0.179 and a resistance price of 0.199. The RSI fluctuates between 31.4 and 49.3, indicating periods of oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been contracting, suggesting decreasing volatility. Considering these factors, I recommend a short position strategy with an entry price of $0.18, a stop loss price of $0.188, and a target price of $0.165. This strategy aims to capitalize on the downward trend and decreasing volatility, with the stop loss protecting against unexpected price reversals. To refine the strategy, we'll incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Band signals. When the RSI falls below 30, oversold, it signals a potential bounce, but given the overall downtrend, we'll still initiate a short position. The entry price of $0.18 aligns with the recent price action and the forecast. The stop loss at $0.188 provides a buffer above the recent high, while the target price of $0.165 is based on the forecast and the lower Bollinger Band. This combined approach leverages both trend analysis and technical indicators for a high probability, high return investment. Based on the historical data and forecast, TRON shows a fluctuating trend with recent resistance around $0.287 and support at $0.248. The RSI indicates that the asset is currently approaching oversold conditions, with values around 46.8, suggesting a potential buying opportunity. The Bollinger Bands are narrowing, indicating decreasing volatility, and the forecast suggests a downward trend in the coming week. Combining these factors, I recommend a contrarian strategy, anticipating a bounce from the support level. I propose an entry at $0.263, placing a stop loss at $0.248 to protect against a further decline. My target price for this trade is $0.287, aiming to capture a rebound towards the recent resistance. We will utilize a combination of RSI and Bollinger Bands to manage this position. If the RSI falls below 20, indicating a strong oversold condition, we will hold the position. If the price touches the bottom of the Bollinger Bands, we will consider adding to our position. This strategy aims for a high-risk, high-reward profile, capitalizing on potential short-term price reversals. The portfolio will be 60% RSI strategy, 30% Bollinger Band strategy, and 10% support and resistance strategy. Based on the historical data and forecast, Cardano shows a downtrend with increasing volatility. The RSI consistently stays below 50, indicating a bearish sentiment, with dips below 30 suggesting oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands are widening, signaling increased price fluctuations and potential for larger moves. Considering these factors, my strategy will focus on short-term trades capitalizing on the volatility while respecting the overall downtrend. I recommend a short position entry at $0.649, placing a stop loss at $0.659 to protect against a sudden reversal. The initial target price will be $0.612, aiming to capture a quick profit from the predicted downward movement. To refine the strategy, I'll incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Bands indicators. When the RSI drops below 20, indicating an oversold condition, I'll consider a temporary long position, anticipating a short-term bounce. For instance, if the RSI hits 18 near $0.644, I'll enter a long position with a stop loss at $0.65 and a target price of $0.665. Conversely, when the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, I'll consider a long position. If the price reaches $0.612 and touches the lower band, I'll enter a long position with a stop loss at $0.605 and a target price of $0.63. This combined approach, prioritizing shorting with strategic long entries based on RSI and Bollinger Bands, should maximize returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Sui shows a downtrend. The price has been consistently falling, with the forecast predicting further declines to $2.81. The support price of $2.93 has been tested multiple times, indicating a potential strong floor. The RSI is fluctuating but generally below 50, suggesting weakening momentum. The Bollinger Bands are narrowing, indicating decreasing volatility, and the price is nearing the lower band, which is a bearish signal. Considering these factors, a short position is warranted. My recommended strategy is to initiate a short position at $3.11. The stop loss should be placed above the upper Bollinger Band at $3.72 to protect against unexpected upward movements. The initial target price is set at the support level of $2.93, providing a cushion against potential price reversals. If the price reaches $2.93, we can consider adjusting the stop loss to break even and set a new target price at $2.81, based on the forecast. This strategy combines technical indicators and price action to maximize potential returns while minimizing risk. Based on the historical data and forecast, Bitcoin Cash shows an overall upward trend, with recent price fluctuations. The RSI consistently fluctuates around the 50 mark, occasionally dipping below 50 and rising above 70, indicating periods of mild oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been widening recently, suggesting increased volatility, and the price is currently approaching the upper band. Given the forecast of increasing prices, I propose a long-term investment strategy focusing on capitalizing on the upward momentum. My strategy involves entering a long position at $435, coinciding with the beginning of the forecast period. A stop-loss order will be placed at $434, just below the support level, to mitigate potential losses if the price reverses. The initial target price will be $449, aligning with the highest forecast price. If the price reaches this target, we will consider moving the stop loss to break even to secure profits and potentially set a new, higher target price based on subsequent price action. This strategy balances risk and reward, leveraging the anticipated upward trend while protecting against downside risk. Based on the historical data and forecast, PAX Gold demonstrates a clear upward trend. The RSI consistently moved above 50, indicating bullish momentum. The forecast for the next 2 weeks projects continued price increases, with the price expected to reach $3,600. Considering the RSI and Bollinger Bands, I recommend a long position strategy. We will enter a long position at $3,430. The stop loss will be set at $3,360 to mitigate potential losses if the price reverses. The initial target price will be $3,510, aligning with the forecast price for June 16, 2025. To optimize returns, we will implement a dynamic target price strategy. Once the price reaches $3,510, we will move the stop loss to the entry price of $3,430, securing the initial profit. Subsequently, we will adjust the target price to $3,580, capitalizing on the continued upward momentum. If the price reaches $3,580, we will move the stop loss to the previous high of $3,510. Finally, we will set a final target price of $3,600, aiming to capture the full extent of the forecasted gains. This strategy combines RSI, Bollinger Bands, and forecast data to maximize profit potential while minimizing risk. Based on the historical data and forecast, Litecoin demonstrates a downtrend. The price has been fluctuating between a support of $83.6 and a resistance of $89.5. The RSI values have mostly remained between 36.5 and 53.7, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands are narrowing, suggesting decreasing volatility. The forecast for the next week predicts a continuous decline, with prices ranging from $86.8 to $82.5. Considering these factors, I recommend a short position strategy. My strategy involves entering a short position when the price touches the resistance level of $89.5. The stop loss should be set slightly above the resistance at $91 to avoid being prematurely stopped out by minor price fluctuations. The target price is set at $86, aligning with the downward trend and the forecast price. This strategy combines resistance breakout with the predicted downtrend, aiming for a high return investment with a defined risk-reward ratio. The RSI values are not in the oversold zone, so this strategy is based on the downtrend and forecast data. Based on the historical data and forecast, Kava shows a mixed trend with periods of both upward and downward movement. The RSI fluctuating around 47 to 58 indicates neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions, suggesting a consolidation phase. The Bollinger Bands have been widening and narrowing, reflecting periods of increased and decreased volatility. The forecast predicts a gradual decline from 0.424 to 0.397 over the next week, indicating a potential bearish shift. Considering these factors, I recommend a cautious strategy focusing on short-term opportunities. My proposed strategy is a combination of RSI and Bollinger Bands, with a slight emphasis on the bearish forecast. We will initiate a short position at $0.424. Given the support level at $0.417, we'll set a stop loss at $0.43 to protect against a potential upward reversal. The target price will be $0.403, aligning with the forecast and providing a reasonable profit margin. If the price breaks below $0.397, we will consider tightening the stop loss to $0.40 and adjusting the target price to $0.38. This approach balances risk and reward, capitalizing on the anticipated downward trend while incorporating protective measures. Based on the historical data and forecast, official Trump shows a downward trend. The price has been fluctuating between a support of $10.1 and a resistance of $10.8. The RSI consistently remains below 50, with periods of oversold conditions below 30. The Bollinger Bands indicate that the price has been approaching the lower band, suggesting a potential for further decline. Considering these factors, I recommend a short selling strategy. We will enter a short position at $10.3, placing a stop-loss order at $10.8 to limit potential losses if the price unexpectedly rises. The target price for this trade is $9.38, aligning with the forecast for June 20, 2025. To enhance the efficiency of the strategy, we will incorporate RSI and Bollinger Band signals. When the RSI dips below 20, indicating an oversold condition, we will initiate a short position. Conversely, when the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, we will also consider entering a short position. Combining these signals, the most efficient portfolio will be a short selling strategy with an entry price of $10.1, a stop-loss price of $10.8, and a target price of $9.57. This approach leverages both technical indicators to maximize potential returns while minimizing risk. Based on the historical data and forecast, Compound exhibits a strong upward trend, breaking through the resistance level of $60.7. The RSI consistently fluctuates, indicating periods of both overbought and oversold conditions. However, the recent RSI values above 60 suggest a continued bullish momentum. The Bollinger Bands also support this view, with prices frequently touching or exceeding the upper band, indicating strong buying pressure. Considering these factors, I recommend a long position strategy. We will enter a long position at $53.9, placing a stop-loss order at $53.4, just below the lower Bollinger Band to mitigate potential losses. The initial target price will be $58.5, aligning with the forecast for June 19, 2025. To refine this strategy, we will incorporate an RSI-based adjustment. If the RSI drops below 30, indicating an oversold condition, we will hold the position, anticipating a bounce back. Conversely, if the RSI reaches 80, suggesting an overbought condition, we will consider taking partial profits at $58.5 and setting a new target price at $60.7, the previous resistance level. This dynamic approach, combining Bollinger Bands and RSI signals, aims to maximize returns while managing risk effectively. The portfolio will prioritize this long strategy due to the prevailing upward trend and the potential for further price appreciation. Based on the historical data and forecast, Virtual's protocol shows a fluctuating trend with support at $1.65 and resistance around $2.05. The RSI indicates periods of oversold and overbought conditions, while the Bollinger Bands suggest potential volatility. Considering these factors, I recommend a combined strategy incorporating RSI and Bollinger Bands. Initially, we will enter a short position at $1.91. The stop-loss should be set at $1.96, above the recent resistance level, to protect against a potential upward breakout. The initial target price is $1.78, aligning with the forecast for June 20, 2025. If the price breaks below the support level of $1.65, indicating a strong downtrend, we can enter a short position at $1.65 with a stop-loss at $1.60 and a target price of $1.55. Conversely, if the price reaches the overbought RSI level of 80, we can enter a short position at $2.05 with a stop-loss at $2.10 and a target price of $1.90. This multifaceted approach, combining RSI and Bollinger Bands, aims to capitalize on various market scenarios while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Uniswap shows a volatile trend with periods of consolidation and upward momentum. The RSI indicates that the asset has been fluctuating between oversold and overbought levels, suggesting potential trading opportunities. The Bollinger Bands confirm this volatility, with prices frequently touching or crossing the upper and lower bands. Considering these factors, I propose a combined strategy leveraging RSI and Bollinger Bands. Initially, I recommend a long position at $7.46 with a stop-loss at $7.55, coinciding with the support level. The target price for this trade is set at $8.07, aligning with the forecast price and the upper Bollinger Band. As the price approaches the target, we will adjust the strategy based on the RSI and Bollinger Bands. If the RSI reaches 80, indicating an overbought condition, we will consider taking partial profits at $8.07 and setting a trailing stop-loss to protect gains. Conversely, if the price falls to the lower Bollinger Band and the RSI drops below 20, indicating an oversold condition, we will consider initiating another long position at $7.55 with a stop-loss at $7.46 and a target price of $8.66, the resistance level. This dynamic approach allows us to capitalize on both upward and downward price movements while mitigating risk through strategic stop-loss placements. Based on the historical data and forecast, movement shows a downtrend, with the forecast prices consistently below the recent closing prices. The RSI values are generally below 50, indicating a weak upward momentum. The Bollinger Bands are narrowing, suggesting decreasing volatility. Given these factors, I recommend a short selling strategy. The entry price should be $0.143, coinciding with a recent peak and a potential reversal point. Set a stop loss at $0.153, just above the recent resistance level, to limit potential losses if the price unexpectedly rises. The initial target price should be $0.132, aligning with the forecast price for June 20, 2025. To refine this strategy, we'll incorporate RSI and Bollinger Band signals. If the RSI rises above 60, indicating an overbought condition, consider covering the short position and taking profits. Conversely, if the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, around $0.132, it signals a potential support level, which could be a good exit point. This combined approach, prioritizing the downtrend while incorporating technical indicators, aims to maximize returns while managing risk effectively. The second target price should be $0.132, and a final target price of $0.132. Based on the historical data and forecast, Jito demonstrates a generally upward trend, particularly evident in the recent price surge. The RSI consistently fluctuates but has recently moved above 50, suggesting increasing buying momentum. The Bollinger Bands show price movement within a widening range, indicating increased volatility and potential for further price swings. Considering the support price of $1.86 and the forecast for June 14, 2025, at $1.97, I recommend a long position. The entry price should be $1.97, with a stop loss set at $1.86, just below the support level, to mitigate potential losses. The initial target price should be $2.04, aligning with the recent high. To refine this strategy, we will incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Band signals. When the RSI dips below 30, consider a long entry. When the RSI exceeds 70, consider a short entry. When the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, consider a long entry. When the price touches the upper Bollinger Band, consider a short entry. Given the current upward trend and the forecast price of $2.01 for June 16, 2025, I suggest holding the long position. If the price reaches $2.04, consider taking partial profits and adjusting the stop loss to $1.95 to protect gains. If the price continues to rise, a secondary target price of $2.12 can be considered, aligning with the resistance level. Based on the historical data and forecast, Bitcoin Cash shows an overall upward trend, with recent price fluctuations. The RSI consistently fluctuates around the 50 mark, occasionally dipping below 50 and rising above 70, indicating periods of mild oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been widening recently, suggesting increased volatility, and the price is currently approaching the upper band. Given the forecast of increasing prices, I propose a long-term investment strategy focusing on capitalizing on the upward momentum. My strategy involves entering a long position at $435, coinciding with the beginning of the forecast period. A stop-loss order will be placed at $434, just below the support level, to mitigate potential losses if the price reverses. The initial target price will be $449, aligning with the highest forecast price. If the price reaches this target, we will consider moving the stop loss to break even to secure profits and potentially set a new, higher target price based on subsequent price action. This strategy balances risk and reward, leveraging the anticipated upward trend while protecting against downside risk.